Let's talk about 11 big banks rescue First Republic Bank with a $30 billion bailout. We're over here talking about fucking China, Russia, Ukraine. Meanwhile, we got some fucked up shit happening in our financial institutions, folks, here in the United States of America. Let's talk about that for a second while I go grab my chicken.
Worries over the banking system and the massive efforts now to boost confidence. In the latest effort, California-based First Republic Bank was given a $30 billion lifeline from 11 other banks in a deal partly brokered by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who also took questions from senators on Capitol Hill yesterday. And Capitol Hill is where we find our Scott McFarland, who's covering all of this for us. Scott, good morning.
Tony, good morning to you. The nation's Treasury Secretary gave temporary reassurance to lawmakers here about the state of the U.S. banking system. But the big question is, what happens next if another financial institution runs into trouble? First Republic Bank of California becomes the third U.S. bank this week to be rescued from collapse. 11 of America's largest financial institutions agreed to pump $30 billion into First Republic to stabilize the troubled lender after its value tumbled Thursday during early trading, rattling markets and the bank's customers.
I was definitely concerned with the financial situation, after the two banks went under.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen announced the deal hours after trying to reassure Congress about the health of America's banking system.
I can reassure the members of the committee that our banking system is sound and that Americans can feel confident that their deposits will be there when they need them.
The tumultuous week for banks has triggered new debate over a move by then-President Trump and Republicans, joined by 17 Democrats, to loosen bank regulations in 2018.
I think it's important we pay close attention to what's happening. I think it's important that this body quit listening to banking lobbyists.
But Republicans who supported the changes 5 years ago blamed Biden administration regulators for failing to detect and stop banks from taking dangerous risks.
This administration has a great deal of responsibility for the bank failures that we had.
Dude, that's awesome. It's awesome when Republicans are like, yeah, where are the regulators? I guess they're too busy being gay or whatever, right? Like that's the funniest part when they're like, wow, it's really crazy that like our banking regulators are not doing their jobs after we, basically eviscerated any matter of like regulatory power they have and have created a process where there's like a fucking revolving door between regulators and the banks that they're regulating, right? And now it's like, oh man, who's to blame here in the situation where like obviously all of those chickens come home to roost? Wokeness. The regulators were gay. They were being gay. That's why this happened. Awesome. It's brilliant. It's the best.
Wall Street prepares for its final trading this week. There's a sense of uncertainty.
And if you just look at the news, you can tell that I think there's a lot more we don't know than we do know, right? And so we get the sense that there will be further problems.
Senators also pressed the Treasury Secretary about whether other banks across America would get similar rescues to the ones issued this week. She said only if there is systemic risk to the U.S. economy. Nate?
Scott, thank you.